Hello everyone, and welcome to this week's edition of the Tuesday Toolbox. So the Tuesday Toolbox series is designed to help with business development. The articles, the videos are, less than 10 minutes long, and they're designed to help you and give you some insight. They're not designed to give you all of the information on a particular topic, but to just kind of whet your appetite and get you thinking, hopefully creatively, about how you can use the information provided to grow your business. Her community members, you can look for the checklists that accompany the Tuesday Toolbox articles in her community group on Facebook. This week I'm going to be talking about how to pitch to an angel investor. And the research that I did showed that angel investors are looking for really 5 things. The first thing they're looking to understand from you is your experience and expertise. Next, they want to know what the business opportunity is that you're presenting. The third thing is statistics and figures. The fourth is presentation skills, and the fifth is they are really looking for authenticity and connection. So I'll go through each of these one at a time and offer some comments, and then hopefully you'll write back a comment, ask questions, and we can continue a dialogue or open a dialogue. So the first thing they're looking for is your experience and expertise. So here you want to be really specific. What is it about the potential investment that you are passionate about? What is your experience? What is your expertise in the area? Talk about yourself and talk about your team. If you're a solopreneur, and I know a lot of business owners, women business owners out there are solopreneurs, you can still talk about a team. You can talk about the people that you will bring on once you have the investment, once you're growing. 5 years from now, this is what your team might look like. And you can actually say those words. I've identified people who will bring A, B, and C. So don't be shy about bragging a bit. If you've won awards, if you have been recognized in your industry for a particular product or service, be sure to mention that during your pitch. The second thing, the business opportunity. So what I read about was that the angel investors really appreciate if you are straightforward, if you are clear, and if you're concise. Have a presentation that is easy to grasp. Stay away from all of the industry jargon. And that can be a little bit difficult, but remember, most angel investors are investing in a broad range of opportunities. There are some that are very specific to a particular industry, and if you're lucky enough to find someone who is interested in an industry, you happen to be in that industry, then I say, okay, you can use a bit more of the jargon. But the real key here is to be clear and concise. And you also want to really focus on the financial opportunity. What is the return on investment that you are proposing? I read that you can actually, and you should actually say, I'm looking for an investment of this much for this much equity stake in my company. And then you go into a justification for that. The third thing regarding stats and figures. So you really want to know your numbers. I mean, if you're a follower of Shark Tank, you know that that's how they sink a lot of potential investments, or that's how they catch a lot of the people that are presenting, right? Is the person doesn't really know their numbers and the valuation. They are always concerned about the valuation. So what is your company actually worth based on the numbers? And you want to be frank about your debt. If you have put money into the company and you haven't seen the return that you anticipated, but now you know why. You've done some focus groups, you've done some research, and you know why, you know, the amount of money that you put in hasn't yielded the expected results. Be clear about that. Be very honest about that. You can also present different projections. You could say, if we're to grow conservatively, this is how far we will get from point A to point B with this kind of an investment. If we want to be a bit more aggressive with the investment, an investment of this much would yield that much return in XYZ period. You want to let them know too, do you have a patent? And if you don't have a patent, and you should have a patent, why don't you have a patent? And there are sometimes some very good reasons not to have a patent. But you want to be really honest and clear about that. And you also want to have done some homework and prepared, right? So a good idea is to do some focus groups, to do some research, some direct market research, especially if you have a product that you're proposing, right? Have you gone out to the farmers markets? Have you gone out to industry group trade shows? And what has been the reception that you have received? The fourth thing is pretty basic, and it's presentation skills. And here you have really an opportunity to shine or to really sink. Most of the pitches are about 15 minutes long, and everything I read said don't have any more than 12 slides in your PowerPoint. Make your PowerPoint presentation engaging. Don't talk through the slides. You know, use more white space and pictures to illustrate points. If you have a product, you definitely want to show the product and have samples for the angel investors. You want to be very clear about explaining the service from soup to nuts. What is it that your service does, and how does it address particular needs along the way? Finally, you want to practice your pitch, right? There's nothing worse than being nervous and forgetting how to start your pitch. But if you practice, if you own the pitch, then you'll be able to handle a bit of nervousness and really show your passion. You also want to be very mindful of the time, right? Some of these pitches, the 15 minutes includes your presentation and time for questions. Sometimes it's a 15-minute pitch plus some time for questions. So going in, you want to be sure which one it is so that you can prepare accordingly. The fifth and final thing that I read about that angel investors are interested in is probably the most important thing, and that's authenticity and connection. So they really, you know, in 15 minutes, a person can get a feel for who you are and especially understand your passion around a product or a service. But you have to keep in mind that people do business with people they know, they like, and they trust. And that has to come through, and it'll be clear if you're authentic. If you're not trying to be someone different than you are, and if you speak in a regular tone of voice, but not a monotone, and if you moderate your excitement so that your voice is not really high-pitched or too low, but kind of just right? So you really want to make sure that your own personality and your own passion comes through. A couple of additional notes. I found out that you can actually pay to play. There are angel groups that you pay a fee, and then you're able to participate you are able to make a presentation. Excuse me. And sometimes that works to people's benefit, right? It may cost something, but in the end, you get in front of a person who is interested in helping you and who has the means and the time to do so. The second thing is to really be realistic about the competition. One angel investor I read about said that the worst thing someone can say is, Nobody else does this. He said that, you know, when he hears that, he basically shuts down because, yeah, there's always competition, right? Be frank about the competition. Talk about how you're going to be different. What is your uniqueness? How are you going to solve the solution that everybody else, or solve the problem, excuse me, that everybody else is trying to solve that is still not solved, right? Be the solutions provider. You're encouraged to use focus groups. And then you can use the results and the information that you gather from the focus groups as part of your experience and as part of the you know, background on the product or service. Actually, focus groups can give you a lot of information too. You may be thinking that you're going this way, and then the focus group has questions that actually have you go that way. So it really is a good thing to work with focus groups. You want to give concrete examples and feedback, especially from those groups. And finally, you want to make sure that angel investors can find you on social media and the internet. And you want to especially be careful that what they find out there is favorable to you, right? So you want to make sure that your website looks good or great, that your social media feed has interesting and engaging information. And if you have anything negative out there, make sure you address that as well. So those are the 5 things, plus a couple of little extra, that angel investors are looking for when you pitch to them. And angel investors offer a really great opportunity for you to grow your business. It's not for everybody, obviously, but for those of you that are ready to bring on some investors, take a look at angel investing, take a look at angel investors, and see if they might be able to help you. Please don't hesitate to comment. Let me know what you thought of this toolbox, and share any information you have on angel investors. If you yourself have pitched, or if you yourself are an angel investor and happen to be listening to this this video, please comment, and let's get the dialogue started. It's all about business development and growth. I'm Nancy Allen, and thanks for listening.